Hello everyone, you're welcome to this channel. In this video, we are asked to solve for x such that x exponent 3 minus 64 is equal to 0. So let me rewrite the equation. X exponent 3 minus 64 is equal to 0. Now from here, I'm going to rewrite 64 as x exponent 3 minus 4 exponent 3 is equal to 0. So we are going to use this identity when we have a cube minus b cube. This can be expressed as a minus b multiplying a squared plus ab plus b squared. And from here, when we compare the left hand side with this one, we can realize that x is equal to a and then 4 is equal to b. So the left hand side is going to be, here you have a minus b and then a is x, so you are going to have x minus, and then b is 4, so you're going to have x minus 4 multiplying a is x, so you're going to have x squared plus ab, so 4 times x, 4x, and then plus b squared, and then b is 4, so you're going to have 4 squared to be equal to 0. So from here we can equate this to 0, then we can also equate this to 0. So let's do that. Now we are going to have x minus 4 is equal to 0, and then we are also going to have x squared plus 4x plus 4 squared is equal to 0. So here we are going to have x to be equal to 4. Then over here we are going to have x squared plus 4x plus 16 is equal to 0. Now we have gotten one answer for x, so let us solve this one so that we also get the other answers. Now we are going to compare the equation with the general quadratic equation, which is given by ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. And then from here, when we compare the general quadratic equation with this equation, we can realize that a is the coefficient over here, so a is equal to 1, and then b is the coefficient over here, so b is equal to 4, and then c is equal to 16. And from here we are going to use the quadratic formula, which is given by x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So wherever you see a, b, and c, and then we fix these values over there. So you are going to have x to be equal to negative b. B we had 4, so you are going to have negative 4 plus or minus the square root of b squared. We had b to be 4, so you're going to have 4 squared minus 4ac, and then a is 1, and then c is 16 all over 2a, and then a is 1. So we are going to have negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 squared is 16 minus 4 times 16 gives 64 all over 2. And so from here, x will be equal to negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus 64 gives minus 48 all over 2, where we can write the square root of 48 as negative 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 1 times 48 all over 2. So we are going to have negative 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 48 all over 2. So x will be equal to negative 4 plus or minus square root of negative 1 gives an I, which is a complex, times then square root of 48 can be expressed as 4 times 12 all over 2. Now let me clean this side. So from here we are going to have x to be equal to negative 4 plus or minus I multiplying the square root of 4 times the square root of 12 all over 2. So x will be equal to negative 4 plus or minus I Square root of 4 gives 2 times square root of 12 can also be expressed as 4 times 3 all over 2. So x will be equal to -4 plus or minus I multiplying 2 times square root of 4 times square root of 3 all over 2. So x will be equal to -4 plus or minus I multiplying square root of 4 gives 2, and then 2 times 2 is 4. So we are going to have 4 times the square root of 3 all over 2. And from here we can rewrite this as x is equal to -4 over 2 plus or minus 4 root 3 all over 2 multiplying I. And so x will be equal to -2 plus or minus 2 times the square root of 3i. So the value of x from this equation, now let me clean this side. So the value of x from this equation, we are going to have 3 of them, of which we are going to have x equal to 4, and then we're also going to have x is equal to -2 plus 2 times the square root of 3i. Then we're also going to have x is equal to -2 minus 2 times the square root of 3i. So these are the 3 answers for x in this equation. Thank you for watching. If you find this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and then comment as well.